Did we just take a step in a time machine 3 weeks prior with that second half performance? Arsenal match review. It was disappointing that. It was a tough game. Arsenal was always going to be a tough game. Better than Brentford. Better than some of the teams we've played more recently. But I feel like we just made them look a bit better than what they are. I think Arsenal are quite weak in areas. I touched it on the match preview and I've just come away a little bit disappointed because the first half was positive. We looked organised. Arsenal really struggled to break us down. And then the second half, I don't know what happened. It was literally like we went back in time to what we've been used to before, Eddie Howe. And I know it's still very early days. You know, he's only been in the job. He's only been on the training ground because of COVID probably for about a week. Like actually physically working with the players. But it was just terrible in that second half. And I'm going to end up touching on a couple of issues that, again, almost makes me feel like I'm going back in time. Like St. Maximin, for example. When he is not involved, we seem to look quite dire in attack. And that was the case today. And that's always been the case for the last 2 seasons. So I guess there's no surprise there, really. But I just think he was very, very isolated today. Did he look up for it as much as he normally does? That's questionable, but he was never given the opportunity to run at them. When he did, at the very end of the second half, he got the shot off that was saved from Ramsdale. When Almiron should have done better in the follow-up. So he just wasn't involved enough. He's one of our best players on the field. So that was frustrating. Attacking-wise, as much as I hate Steve McManaman in commentary, because I've obviously watched the game on TV today, I agree with what he said in the second half. It was a very, very sort of hammer and home kind of statement for me that we are better probably when we attack because our attacking players, there's some quality there in the Wilsons, the Maximans, the Willocks on his day. I mean, we'll touch on him in a second. But when we try and defend, we don't do it very well when we sit everyone behind the ball. It's almost as if the players in that squad don't want to do that. And I think that was a contrasting difference between the first half to the second half. I thought the first half Wilson was causing Gabriel all sorts of problems. I know there was to and fro, a couple of the decisions I didn't agree with. But we need to slip out of this defensive mindset. And I don't know where that came from in the second half. I certainly don't think that stemmed down from Eddie Howe. I don't think he's the sort of coach who's going to literally wait for a counter-attack or play for the 0-0. So I don't know whether that's just a mindset issue that's something we've been used to for too long. So the players were almost scared to come out and do a bit more in the second half. I don't know. My personal things to take away from that game individually, I think I sound like a stuck record when I say it. Matt Ritchie is not a left-back. He's not the main issue with our defensive problems. I'm not saying that. We've got problems across that back four. But he is not a left-back. He was lucky in the first half he wasn't caught out when the ball came over for Saka. And Saka just slipped it wide. Totally unaware of where Saka was, nowhere near him. I just feel like we always have problems down that left-hand side. And I'm looking at the fixtures coming up and I'm thinking, right, so we've got Norwich on Tuesday. Huge, huge game. Burnley on Saturday. But then the bigger boys that we have to play. Like, you know, we've got Liverpool in a couple of weeks. Matt Ritchie cannot keep playing in these sorts of games. And I know we don't have too many options there. But me personally, in some of these matches, because we need to tighten up defensively, I'd rather see Paul Dummett there. And someone might chew me head off for that opinion. Because some people out there think Paul Dummett's a load of shite. I personally don't. I think he's always been solid for us defensively. Defensively, he's always been solid. Let our attacking players do the attacking. Get some points on the board. And if we're going to keep playing with wing-backs, I'm worried that we are going to get relegated this season. Personally, when I watch Newcastle play, I think that's a big issue. I know we've got Lascelles, who's a big problem at the moment. He does not look anywhere near the player that was maybe 2 or 3 years ago getting touted by some people for an England cap in in some of the friendly matches. He's been okay before. He's never been a world beater, but he is looking off the pace at the moment. He's missing for Tuesday. So I didn't take that as a positive, obviously, but it gives a chance for somebody else to come in. And we don't know what's up with Fernandez, but yeah, there's issues there at the back. But I think if we're going to keep playing Richie, who's good going forward with regards to his left peg, no one's doubting that. I've seen the chances created stats, and all the Richie lovers will chuck that in my face. But what is his job when we go somewhere like Arsenal first and foremost? It's to defend. And he's not very good at that. I'm sorry. He's not. And that's no discredit to him. He's not a defender. And then you look on the other side. Our only real defensive fullback is Manquillo, who's a bit hitty-missy. And you lose that attacking threat going forward that maybe Murphy offers. And I just don't know what the answer is until January comes, when we can spend some money. But that, for me, is a big area that we need to improve on. I thought Dubravka was solid. You can argue he could have got closer to that second goal. Could have came out a little bit faster to get near Martinelli. But Dubravka proved why he needed to be in. I think he's a lot more solid with this. I think he barks at his defenders. He's more commanding from set pieces. And he's a reliable shot stopper. So that was a good decision. I was happy to see him come in. The other one for me, and we've all eased off on him because he didn't have much of a pre-season. Joe Willock, if he's going to continue to keep playing for us and starting, he needs to offer more. I'm watching today and I'm wanting the kid to do well, because he all found that little place in our hearts at the end of last season, because he effectively kept us up with his goals, and he's not offering much. He is not offering much at all. I remember him having a shot in the second half that was into Ramsdale's hands. But generally speaking, Shelvey seems to be up in his game in the last 2 matches. It couldn't have gone much worse for him. His work rate seems to have improved. And I think if we are going to play on that press, high line with Joe Linton and Maximin, as I touched on in the match preview, then them passes from Shelvey are going to be key. And so it proved with the Wilson chance, which again we'll touch on in a second. But Willock, he's not offering very much for me. Defensively, he's not very good. And attacking-wise, he's just not linking up. He's not making them bursts into the box like we saw last season. There was a ball that Murphy pinged in the second half that just wanted somebody to attack it. And I was waiting. You know, I think last season Willock would have been that man. And I know you've got Wilson, who should be bursting into there. But Willock was always that man, keen as mustard to get in the box. And we're not seeing it. So he's got to improve for me. I thought Fraser played okay today. He obviously came into the starting 11. There's only better things can come from him. Almiron, I'm not a huge Almiron fan. Yes, he runs a lot, but quality-wise, I'm not a fan. He did look okay when he came on, but I, at the moment, would keep him out of the team. I would. I wouldn't change too much in that regard. Joe Linton didn't have the game that we maybe hoped he would after that great performance against Brentford last week, and I just think we've got issues defensively, and we keep getting found out. I thought their first goal, in my opinion, was a little bit too easy. The passing and Kraft, who didn't look that comfortable all afternoon at right back. I think Eddie Howe is struggling with his defensive picks. He took Clark out, brought Kraft in, brought Fraser in into kind of that like sort of wing back position almost. I think he's struggling. Kraft came in today and I didn't think he looked very good. He picked up a daft yellow card in the first half. He looked a bit frustrated. He got hooked off. Eddie Howe's got not much time to tinker with his team. And I know that's difficult for a manager coming in. And he is realising the job he's got on his hands now. I look at that table and it makes me absolutely shit me pants. Not from the coffee, just from looking at where we are in the league. And I think this week, I don't like big statements, but Norwich and Burnley, both at home in 4 days, is huge. We've then got Leicester away, Liverpool away, Man City, Man United. They just non-stop after that. And I think if we weren't to win on Tuesday, or worst case scenario, 3 points from these 2 games, things are looking bleak. And we need to start seriously thinking about maybe a relegation being on the cards, because where do you get to a point where you keep believing? Because teams are going to keep pulling away. Like the Norwich game's going on right now. I was just watching a bit. If they win today, it's shitty ass time. You've got other teams who are picking up results. You know, you've got new managers coming in. And they're all looking at Newcastle thinking we can pull away from these here. We've conceded the most goals. We've actually scored more goals than Arsenal. Did anyone else say that statistic? That's what's frustrating. We're so bad defensively. That's what's screwing us over. We're not bad going forward as long as Eddie Howe gets us playing a bit more attack. We proved that against Brentford. But yeah, there was positives. There was positives. I'm sure Eddie Howe will try and focus on them positives. The first half, we were okay. And the penalty for me, I've watched it a million times now. In my opinion, in real time, that's a penalty. Wilson is clean through. I understand it's a shoulder barge, but the defender there is getting nowhere near Wilson. He's nowhere near the ball. He's behind him. Wilson's in command. He's just about to get it under control and pull the trigger, and he's knocked him over. So in my opinion, in that goal-scoring quick time, that's a penalty. And it frustrates me because why the hell is Wilson going to go down? He's completely knocked off balance. The defender's nowhere near the ball. Yes, it's a shoulder barge, but he is way, way, way behind Wilson and not getting near it. He's just about to smash it. Penalty. Frustrates me because I honestly think if that was Arsenal at the home end, it probably would have been given. And obviously they go up the other end and score. So that's a bit of a game changer. For me, it was. I don't think the referee gave us much today, but we need to move on to Norwich. There is a very quick turnaround here. Lascelles is out. Richie's out. So who are you bringing in? I think we need to maybe look at Fernandez. I don't know where he is in the squad. I keep talking about him. Charles obviously keep his place. Clark might come back in. Who do we go left back? Maybe Fraser. Maybe put Fraser at left back. Again, he's not a defender. But that game is huge. I'm already nervous for that match. So fingers crossed. I think we will beat Norwich. I've seen enough in that first half to think that we will create chances and we will score goals. They will not be an easy opponent. But I was frustrated today. Really frustrated just because we made Arsenal look better than they were, and the second half was just essentially just rolling over in my eyes. We bent over and said, do your worst. And the first half didn't go that way at all, so we almost saw two teams today. We took a step back in time in the second half. As always, Newcastle fans, let us know your thoughts on today's game. Drop in the comments, give us a subscribe, give us a like. For some reason, our videos don't get many views compared to a lot of other channels. I don't know why. Anyone knows anything about algorithms, let us know. I thought I was pretty clued up on social media, apparently not. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Content is coming every day now on that. I'm getting a little bit obsessed. I love it. And as always, we'll probably touch down for a midweek debate before... Oh, sorry. No, of course, we'll touch down for a Norwich match preview. Probably Sunday night, Monday morning. For a huge week in the two massive home games. But fingers crossed this time next week, we will be almost 6 points better off and things might be looking a bit more rosy in the Eddie Howe garden. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.